taking a look at something pretty unique and interesting today. This is the Amadeus RDA by Golden Greek. So there's a lot to show you in this. This is like a builder's RDA. This is designed for someone who wants a high quality RDA that can do single coil, dual coil, mouth to lung RDA, full direct lung RDA, a lot of interchangeable parts, a lot you can do with it, customize it, configure it any different way you want, the posts move in and out, all kinds of stuff. Let's dive right down. I'm going to just show you it out of the box the way it comes with all the different options, and then I'll talk about what it's been like vaping on this thing. All right, today we're taking a look at the Amadeus from Golden Greek. We're going to do this on the towel today because there's a lot to show you in this box, and I don't want to lose any parts, so I hope you're ready. Let's go ahead and take a look at this by opening this up. It does say Golden Greek 2009. Move that to the side. It does say inside, the greatest innovations for the greatest vapers. All right. So you got a whole kit here that pretty much can do anything an RDA direct lung or mouth to lung vapor would want to do. So we got a bunch to go over. First of all, you're going to have your O-rings. You're going to have, it comes with the squonking pin already in there. Here you got your regular pin, you got your screwdriver, you got plenty of O-rings, plenty of screws, everything you could want in case you lose anything. Now we're going to go through this piece by piece. Let's move this to the top and take a look at the RDA itself. Now, this is nice and shiny, and these angles here are pretty much 90-degree angles, so they're not so sharp they're going to cut you, but you can feel that they're 90-degree angles on here. The bottom, you'll have CE, AM1, number 184 in the production line, I'm assuming. You got the Golden Greek logo over here. Just go through this a little slowly so you can appreciate it and take a look at the design. Now you'll notice you do have top airflow and bottom, and we'll get into all of that and explaining that. Let's start off by just showing you that this is this type of drip tip. You can see a spitback protector already in there. With this kind of drip tip, it does give you plenty of airflow, but it is a custom drip tip. But the reason they did that is you can take a regular 510 drip tip and put that right in there. And I just picked one out of my drawer. You might not like the way it looks, but you can take any 510 drip tip and fit it in there because you do have mouth-to-lung vaping. Most mouth-to-lung vapors would prefer a 510 over an 810 drip tip. So that's why they went with that option, and you do have that. You do also have this other placement cap there. Let's go ahead and put that on. O-rings are kind of tight on that one. I'm smushing them in there a little bit. And I haven't used this one yet, so that's why I think it's just dry on there. But there you go. All right, so you have that style. And of course, that's certainly going to work great with heat transference. Not that there's any heat problems, but that will work nice on there. Let's take that back off for now. Put the blue one on since I like that better. All right, let's start by opening this thing up and showing you how that works. So first of all, everything is screwed together on here. First of all, if you keep turning clockwise, you're controlling your top airflow. What you control on one side, you control on the other. If you go to unscrew it, it unscrews. There's your spit back protector. All right, which is optional. You don't have to use it. And there's your top. Let's put this on a mod so I can open it up. This does have a locking top cap. You can see the locking here and here. All right. So of course, if you wanted to take it off, that does help. But let's just wiggle the top off. Take a look at the machining in there before we get to the deck. You can pop out that top section for cleaning as well. Double O-rings on there. Those to the side. And the deck is what we got a lot to go over. And you can see two posts, and don't worry if you're thinking that those two posts are too close together. You can move those out. All right. Let's go ahead and take it off the mod now, because it'll be easier to show you everything. Just giving you a good view of the deck. Now this bottom part will unscrew. And when you take this off, a lot of times that bottom pin comes out with it because the O-ring just makes a tight connection on here. So I have had that come off, but you can just screw that back on. This cap will come off. Let's get in focus there, and there is your deck. Now you're going to notice, like I said, those are kind of close together. What you can do is take that out, and we'll get to that too in a minute. Like I said, a lot to show you. And then we can loosen this a little bit. All right, if you keep going, you can actually remove the posts. We're not going to do that here. But once that's there, you can actually separate these. You can actually move your posts further apart. Okay, so they are adjustable. So if you're going to use it for a mouth-to-lung coil, you might want them closer together with a small round wire build. If you're going to use direct lung, you might want a larger build. Now you might say, what if you push them too far apart? You might short on the top cap. Well, no, they thought of that too. And over here, you have these little plastic pieces that are coming out just slightly farther than the post. So they will stop it before it hits the top cap, and you will not short. So very smart that that was included in there. All right. And then, of course, once you get it to whatever length you want it to be, you can tighten it back down. And I had it really loose. And you can tighten that back down. All right. Now, you have all these bottom pieces. If you insert this, you will close off bottom airflow. All right, because that would be a bottom airflow with your coils here, and you will only get the side airflow from the top cap hitting the coil. And when you put the top cap on, because of the locking mechanism, you see the cutaways here, you're always going to have your airflow in the proper place for top airflow. Now, you can remove this and put in the dual bottom airflow. You can see the two holes. You pop that in there. There is your mouth to lung bottom airflow. Throw your base back on. Whoop, first you put this cap back on. I'm calling it a cap, but go ahead and screw that into the base. There's your airflow. Throw that back on. You could do it afterwards, but what you're going to do is you're going to end up closing off that airflow because you're going to use it for mouth to lung. You can see how that fits in. Get that lined up there. A little bit. You're better off putting this on to your airflow before you insert it so it doesn't go in. And I didn't put in the spit back filter, but that's fine. So you put that on there, you close off this airflow if you want to, and then you have just bottom airflow going through those two micro pins that you saw in there. All right, and now you could have side airflow if you want, but that's really not going to be a mouth to lung vape at that point. Now if you take off that base again, let's wiggle the top cap off, take off that base. And again, that's the dual mouth to lung airflow. You also have single mouth to lung airflow. All right, so you can have it just on one side, easy single coil, dual coil mouth to lung. You also have the option of this for having single coil bottom airflow. All right, which is really nice. They are giving the option for single coil bottom airflow. Or what I mainly use it for is I close that off completely, and I'm mainly a direct lung vapor, certainly for a device like this, at least for me. All right. Go ahead and put that back together. Pop out the top, put your spit back protector back in there. Goes in here, so there's no way for it to short out. All right, it's not going into the bottom piece, it's staying in the top, so you don't have to worry about shorting at the top of your coils. Seems like they thought of pretty much everything. Of course, I have to put it on the right way. And now you would have top airflow, which you can turn here and adjust. No bottom airflow, spit back protector, everything in there. There's also the second cap, in case you want to use it either for direct lung, top airflow only, or if you want to use it for a single coil, mouth to lung. You can take that cap off. Cap looks the same, except single airflow. Okay, one side. You can throw that on there. Now you may be saying, that's a lot of pieces. Well, a lot of options requires a lot of pieces. Obviously, some people love playing with this and setting it up the way you want. You also have the option of doing just about anything you can imagine with a single RDA setup. You can play around with it. You can not play around with it. You can set it up for what you like best and be doing mouth to lung one day. And then a few days later, change it all around and be doing direct lung, single coil for either one, dual coil, whatever you want. The machining is very nice. The threading on here is beautiful. Everything about this so far with the machining and the quality is excellent. Everything just fits together really nice. You have all the options, obviously, all these different pieces. You know, even down to the idea that you can't put those posts too far apart is nice, because, you know, you worry if you're not a real experienced builder that you might short things out, all right? But just the fact of having those plastic pieces in there, pop that out to show you again. You got all the pieces in here that will prevent you from moving the posts out too far and shortening it out. If you wanted to move those posts back in, by the way, you loosen that a little bit, and you see the posts. You can squeeze them right back together again, all right? And then switch it right back to mouth to lung. Getting them out a little bit, you know, is a little trickier sometimes just to separate them. Not terrible. They do separate, all right? You see, and I got them back out, and you get them where you want them. When you get them exactly where you want them, you have all the options in the world to do what you want with it. Then you just go ahead and tighten that back down so that they stay in place. All right, so then you get them back in place there, and you can easily rebuild this as a direct lung. I'm going to put this together for a direct lung vape, closing off the bottom airflow, which is here, for my preferred vape style. All right, put your bottom back on. Well, got to put this other piece on first. Throw back on the dual airflow top cap. Get the spit back connector in there. Get the top connector, which connects your top cap to your top airflow. And you can see by the threading on here as I put it together every time, it's really just beautiful. And look at that. You got 3 really solid O-rings on there, putting that together. All right. Now, obviously, what I'm going to have to do is put a coil in here. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so I got a build in there. Got a couple of tofu coils in there. I'm doing, this is a full-size build, not a mouth to lung, a direct lung build. This is coming out to 0.18 dual coil. Got that warmed up pretty good. Got the hot spots out of there. May not be in focus. Go ahead and wick that up. Another important thing I want to show you on the squonking before I wick it up. When you squonk on here, it actually shoots the juice out in all 4 corners, okay? So it hits right to where your wicks are. Let's see if you can see that when I squonk on here. Let's see if you can see it this way better. Of course, I have it tilted that way, but you see that? Juice in all 4 corners going straight to the wicks. So it's not just pumping out and going two directions like where your coils are. It's actually pumping out in all four directions to hit all four of your wicks. Let's get you some specs, then we'll go back up and talk about it. So there you go. I'm going to take a vape. So, first thing I noticed when I started vaping on this thing is that airflow is really smooth, especially on the direct lung, the side airflow. You can close it off. You got plenty of airflow in here. I can close this off down to there and still get a wonderful side airflow vape. Nice condensed vape. I'm vaping this now on a dual coil 0.17 at 90 watts. It does get a little hot if you change it to the other drip tip on top, full cover one. It does an even better job, but the airflow on here is super, super smooth. The mouth to lung, not really. I'm normally not a mouth to lung RDA vapor, but it does work beautiful. The airflow is restrictive and it's tight, and it does make a nice mouth to lung vape if you're looking to vape on it that way. Everything about the machining on this is beautiful. The quality is nice. The threading is nice. Everything, all that was put into it. A lot of thought went into this thing. Just the idea that you don't have to worry about pulling your post out too far and shorting out, that the spit back protector is not going to short out. All those things really make it a well thought out RDA. Everything about it's beautiful. No, there's only one con that I had to the thing, and that was the screws. I'll throw a picture up on there. Those screws strip for me pretty easily when trying to crank them down on there. The holes look small for the posts, but I was able to fit those flat coil leads in there with no problems whatsoever. Bend them a little bit slightly and then tighten them in, and everything worked beautiful. They give you the extra screws, but those screws they tighten good. No problems with the tightening, but they were stripping on me a little bit, you can see there. But that's the only issue that I had with it. Other than that, the ability to have all these options, build all the different things on it, and none of it leaks, okay? I have had zero problems. You think with all the different fittings and pieces that are going together and and all of that, you'd think that you might have a little bit of leaking. I have had zero problems with it, whether using the top side airflow or using the bottom airflow with those posts and the different interchangeable posts. Everything about it's been perfect. Not a single leak on there. Pop this off. The squonking on there is just beautiful. And let's see if you can see it even in there. Let's see. Can we focus there a little bit? All right, look at that. I mean, that's just beautiful. Squonking comes up from all four corners, soaks the wicks, and when I squeeze it even more, it comes right up to the side of the coils. Beautiful, beautiful job for squonking on here. And this airflow is just so smooth. I'm gonna open this up a little bit more. So I have it there a little bit more than 50%, and it's a beautiful airflow. No problems whatsoever. Just beautiful. If you vape any pods or ceramic coils, it kind of feels like that. It's what it made me think of. Ceramic coils in like a pod system or pre-made coils. is just a very smooth vape, different from cotton. Obviously, you're using cotton on here. This is not ceramic, but it makes me think of that. So if you're familiar with that, that's the kind of airflow I get on here. I feel like it's just no turbulence whatsoever, just coming right through on there. Flavor on here is basically on par with all the major RDAs out there. I'm not going to say it's the best flavor I've ever had. It's certainly not bad at all. It's just on par, good flavor for the idea that you have so many options, you can do so much to it. A lot of times I think that would mess things up, that you don't build it right, you do something wrong, it's not going to come out as good. But the flavor on here is just fine, okay? No problems whatsoever. And the options, I mean, just options galore. You can do anything you want with this. Now, who's this for? Obviously, it's for someone who is a builder, who loves to play with their RDAs, who likes to configure different things. If you're somebody who does mouth-to-lung RDAs and you're just looking for a new mouth-to-lung RDA, it's beautiful for mouth-to-lung. And if you're somebody who just wants to get something that's high quality, that gives you all the options, whether one day you want to vape on it mouth-to-lung, the next day you want direct lung, the next day you want dual coil, the next day you want single coil, whatever you want, this one thing does its job. Price on here is a little over $100 US. Some people might think that's a little high, but you're getting a lot for it. All right. If you went out and bought a single coil RDA, a dual coil RDA, and a mouth-to-lung RDA, you'd be spending that kind of money anyway. So when you look at it like that, it is not expensive. You're getting everything you could want in one good RDA. Looks on it, looks are always subjective. I do like the looks on it. I think it looks good. This is the shiny version. I forget what they call this one. I'll put it on the screen. But overall, I do like it. You can put your own drip tips on there, and I'm just grabbing the one I had here, which is a big one. But it's nice. Using a 510 drip tip on here also will cut down on any heat by reducing that, by giving you another chimney for the heat to dissipate on. I always like the standard drip tip around there. And again, you're shortening up close, but it's that custom one that goes on there like that. Stays on good. All the O-rings on here are also very good. They're doing a great job of preventing any leaking. Get my airflow back to what I wanted it. They do a great job. No leaking. They're tight. They fit good. They're not too tight. They're not too loose. They're just perfect. All around, I think this is really nice for someone. If you're looking just to buy, a basic RDA for $30, this is not for you. If you're looking to appreciate something made really nice quality to really good standards, I haven't found any problems with all those different configurations I played with, putting everything together, trying it all different ways. And I've tried this a lot of different ways. I haven't found any problems. I haven't found where, it doesn't work great this way because it doesn't feel good or something like that. Not at all. It was really thought out well, that everything does fit together well. One thing came to mind just now. I did mention how because the top cap has, the locking pieces on here so that it goes in the right way. I mentioned how that makes it so you can't make a mistake with the top airflow hitting your coils directly. You actually can, because when you put that deck in, all right, that deck with the two posts actually can turn. So you have to make sure you put it in the right position. Once you get it to the right position, which happens to be where the coil, okay, you can see the side coil is, can you see that? Is in the groove right here. When it's lined up with the groove, then every time you put your top cap on, you will get it in the right position. So you just got to make sure you do that right. Because when I put it back together one time to use it for dual coil, I said, hey, it's not lining up. And then I realized I'd take it apart, just loosen the bottom, turn my deck, tighten it back down, and then from then on, every time I pull off this top cap and I put it back on, it's going to go, you can see here, coil, it's going to go lock right back into the right position so the airflow is right where the coil is. Beautiful. Nice vape, beautiful design, beautiful device. I really like it. I'll put links on the screen, direct to their website. Just Google Golden Greek Amadeus. You will find it. It will come up. There you go. Big shout out to them, and thank you for sending this in for review. It was a pleasure to play around with this thing, look at all those configuration options. I actually enjoyed testing this thing and finding that I found no problems, that whether it was moving the posts, whether it was building it from mouth to lung, for direct lung, with the different bases, putting it back together. There's a lot of work to put it back together. Not a lot. I mean, obviously more than a standard RDA. But once you put it all together and you do it right, which you really can't make too many mistakes or any mistakes. But once you build it, you get it the way you want, and you start vaping on this thing, it's beautiful. So there you go. That is the Amadeus RDA from Golden Greek. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.